Welcome to the seventh episode of The Hard Count. I'm Michael Emami and I recently had the opportunity to speak with Long Beach Poly High School's quarterback Shea Kuykendall. Kuykendall is a pro-style quarterback out of the 2022 class and stands at 6'2", 198 pounds. While his arm is arguably his best trait, Kuykendall has an ability to scramble well and make plays on the run. He has a very good ability to navigate the pocket, read defenders, and has excellent ball placement, similar to kind of like a young Joe Burrow. He's a hugely underrated prospect. Kuykendall and I talk a little bit about that as well, and about him being the best-kept secret in California. You're not going to want to miss it. All right, everybody, here is Shea Kuykendall. Enjoy. You seem like a very underrated prospect in this class. What schools have you reached out to, and what coaches have you been in contact with?
Of late, I've been in contact with Utah, San Diego State, Bowling Green, and then from the Ivy Leagues, I've been in contact with Cornell, Columbia, Yale, and Penn.
Awesome. So what are you kind of looking at in terms of like a school? Do you want the kind of the athletics part of it, or do you want to focus more on the academic side?
More the academic side.
Okay, all right, yeah, because you've got a very, very high GPA, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. So tell me a little bit about your coach and how they've kind of influenced you in your school, kind of Long Beach Poly, how they've kind of influenced you over there.
Yeah, it's really all the coaches I've had over there at Long Beach Poly. They've really helped shape me as a man into the man I am, and then they've always wanted nothing but the best for me. And the coaches at Poly really make it feel like a home away from home. So.
Awesome. And so what camps have you done, and have you worked with any former or current pro athletes?
This year I did the Under Armour All-American Camp, and I was supposed to do the Elite 11 Regional in New Orleans, but sadly that got canceled. And then going to Long Beach Poly, there's always pro athletes up there. So I've seen a few, but I haven't really worked with them.
Yeah. And speaking of pro athletes, on an article by Woe Sports World, you mentioned that you were inspired by the Manning brothers. How have they kind of influenced you as a football player?
Yeah, I really didn't understand at a younger age that how good Peyton Manning was at like studying defenses and really taking time to study the game of football. And then I started getting older, and I really admired that part of his game. And I started studying defenses at an actual like really young age. And then also just the fact that in my eyes he was always a gunslinger, so I always try to be like him. So.
Yeah. In terms of comparisons, I thought it was kind of funny because in looking at your film, the one thing that kind of came to my attention was how similar you look to Joe Burrow in some of your throws. You navigate the pocket extremely well, and you move well for a pro-style quarterback, which is what you're listed as. So, what kind of academic work in terms of sports do you do to kind of make yourself more well-rounded in the game?
I'm always studying the game, whether it's just watching a regular football game or really film studying and going over each play a bunch of times, figuring out everything the defense is doing, finding out their weaknesses.
Okay, all right. And so I'd say when you're kind of reading a defense as a quarterback and you're kind of watching professional sports, what kind of goes through your head when you're kind of watching these pro athletes? Are you kind of thinking the same thing you are when you're on the football field? Do you try and take anything away from the games that you watch?
Yeah, I try to think of me being out there myself, and I try to think I'm the one out there on the field right now, and I just try to vision everything like I am the quarterback on the field that I'm watching.
Awesome. So in terms of the articles that I've read on you, and there are a lot out there, you kind of they all kind of talk about how kind of cool you are and kind of relaxed you are as a person. Are you like this on the field as well before games with your teammates? Is this kind of your way of doing things before the game? Are you more relaxed, or are you more kind of a rah kind of person?
I'm really relaxed before games, because to me, I don't really get nervous for football games because I don't know. It's in me. So I'm just really relaxed before games. I'm having fun, just listening to music, walking around and high-fiving everyone. It's just a great atmosphere before games.
Yeah. And in terms of your teammates, do you feel like they kind of look up to you and see you as kind of like a leader?
Yeah.
Awesome. So your GPA is above a 4.0, and I kind of noticed that, and we kind of talked about that a little bit earlier. So what kind of goes into being a student athlete, and how do you kind of balance work and sports?
You really have to like try and keep a schedule every week, even if it's not during football season. You got to try and keep your schedule straight with school coming first, obviously. So I always try and finish my schoolwork before I do any training when I get back from school. And yeah, just putting school first, really.
Awesome, awesome. And so, according to a quote by QB Hit List, you mentioned you've been playing this game since you were 6 years old. I know it's been a while, but how have you kind of developed from then into the player you are now?
Really, just over time, your body just you grow more as a person too, not only as physicality. But really, when you get older, it's just learning the game of football more. For me, at least, it was because that the physical aspect of football, being a quarterback, throwing the ball, doing all that, that just kind of comes with if you train a lot. But then you really just have to study on your own the game of football to really be a good quarterback.
Awesome, awesome. And second to last question here for you. So, in terms of what does your kind of your training regimen look like? I know you kind of really, I saw there was videos of
There you
you.
go.
What does your training regimen look like?
Oh, so first is obviously just warm up, and then we'll usually start with some pocket movement drills, and then after that we'll work progressions, just like quick game all the way through mid game to deep stuff for progressions, reading, just like simple stuff, just one side stuff, and then we'll usually work a lot of escaping the pocket,
Awesome.
and then we usually always end with some deep balls, some streaks.
Yeah, because I noticed you kind of work on a lot of those progressions and stuff like that in the film as well. And so that kind of goes into how well you play the game because I thought it was kind of screaming at me. I thought I was looking at Joe Burrow there because you navigate the pocket so well and you kind of really nail those over the back throws. And this kind of question here, I just want to ask it because I feel like you are definitely underrated within this class. And in terms of how talented you are and how underrated you are, would you consider yourself the best kept secret in California in terms of wanting more programs to know about you?
Yeah, I'd say something like that because this past year I got to play quite a bit, but not every game. And then this year I'll be playing every game, and I just want to show everyone what I have. So I'm excited.
Awesome, awesome. All right, well, thanks so much, Shay. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
All right, everyone, thanks so much for listening to this episode. That was Shea Kuykendall out of Long Beach Poly High School in California. I'll be sure to put his huddle link and statistics below in case you want to check them out. If you want to contact him, his Twitter handle is @KuykendallShea. You'll see he's a very well-decorated athlete as he is a student. He has excellent grades, too. If you want to contact me, my Twitter handle is @Emami Michael, and my Facebook page is @TheHardCount with Michael Emami. I'd also love it if you subscribe to my YouTube channel. It is The Hard Count with Michael Emami. I'm moving on to running backs now. If you're a quarterback and I didn't get to you yet, don't worry about it at all. I'm flying through these episodes so you can be a part of the second round coming up soon. Thanks so much, guys, for listening and for reaching out to me. I'm here to help you guys. I know we've got a difficult world we're kind of living in with COVID-19, and I want to make sure that I can be as much of an advocate for you all as possible. All right, everyone, thanks so much for tuning in. This has been The Hard Count. Do you have what it takes to go D1?